The World Cup is finally here, and I have a step-by-step plan to profit long-term throughout the entire World Cup, allowing us to make a ton of profit sports betting. I have made over $44,000 in just under 5 months of sports betting this year, and I'm going to tell you exactly what to do to profitably sports bet during the World Cup. I'm not line shopping, I'm not EV betting, I'm essentially following sharp whale money. Now what this means is I'm essentially taking bets following some of the biggest whale bettors in the world. Now these whale bettors are betting millions of dollars per bet with a P&L of anywhere from $1 million to $10 million in profit, and we're following their exact plays throughout the World Cup. The beautiful part about this strategy is you can tail them on pretty much any exchange or prediction market, really any sports book that has the same odds. Now the best books you really want to tail these on are going to be Polymarket, and they're going to be NoVIG and ProfitX. You're going to get the best odds and the most relatable odds to these sharp whales, but pretty much any sportsbook can be comparable depending on the game spread or total. Now for this strategy, I'm going to be using Polymarket to find the exact bets we're going to be taking, but I'm also going to be using upside tools to find the best odds that I can play on every single bet. So essentially what you're going to want to do is go ahead and click over to sports, go ahead and click the World Cup, and essentially we're just going to look game by game on the main markets of these games and follow the sharp money. So what I'm going to show you is how I'm actually taking my World Cup bets and how I'm actually going to profit long term using Polymarket. So the first game we're going to be looking into is the Sweden versus Tunisia game at 10 p.m. Now the reason I'm on Polymarket is because we're actually going to be looking at these insiders that are trading millions of dollars on Polymarket, and then we're going to be tailing on our own book. If you're worldwide and not in the USA, you can tail on Polymarket, or you can tail on any sportsbook you have available as long as you have better odds than these whales. And 95% of the time, you're going to get better odds on NoVIG, ProfitX, and some sharp exchanges that have a lot of low hold plays. So let's look into the first World Cup game together. So if we take a look at Sweden's money line, we have the yes or the no. Now what that means is essentially yes for Sweden to win, no for Tunisia to win. Okay, so what we're going to want to do is we're going to select the main market of the money line, which is going to be majority of what we're betting on. It's going to be the spread, the total of the game, and the main market money line. And essentially what we're going to do is we're going to scroll down to the top holders. Now on these top holders, we're going to be able to see the biggest bettors on this exact money line. The first thing we're going to notice on the Sweden game is you can see yes and no. Now what does this mean? Yes is essentially that they win, and no is essentially that Sweden does not win. Now that could equate to a draw or a loss, right? Because Sweden is favored in this game, but what they do is for Sweden on a yes, because they're favored, they lower the favorite probability to 52 cents instead of a higher probability of them winning. That way you're able to make more money if you bet on Sweden to win, but then if they draw, you lose. Whereas if you take their traditional money line, if they draw, you basically push and the bet does not count. Whereas if you take the no, now instead of taking a huge underdog, you're also taking them to draw with Sweden. That way you're able to put in a lower probability bet as a 50-50 and get a lot more bang for your buck. So essentially if they draw on the no, you're good. If they draw on the yes, you lose. Okay, so the first thing we're going to take a look at is the yes and the no holders. Now these are the sharp bettors. Okay, these are some of the sharpest sports bettors in the absolute world. Okay, these are worldwide bettors that are making millions of dollars on Polymarket. Now the reason that they're on these apps is because right here you can see 2.1 million shares of 52 cents is essentially $1 million. There is no sports book that is letting you bet $1 million on a sports bet, and even if they were, you would not be able to profit long term without them completely banning you from their sports book, because they do not let winners stay on their app. They completely limit and completely ban all winners from any sportsbook once you start profiting long term. So now all of the work we do with EV betting and line shopping, we're essentially adding that on top of following the sharpest money in the world. Now, if someone's laying down $1 million on a team to win consistently, you know they are a sharp bettor, because no one is laying down millions of dollars on a day-to-day basis on tons of games without a profitable long-term strategy. Quickly before we continue, if you do want to try all of my plays 50% off, you can get the first link in the description and use code YouTube at checkout to get every single play for a full month half off. And you can try upside tools for 5 free days, and if you use code ICON at checkout, you'll get 25% off your first purchase. Now let's get back into the video. So the first thing I like to do is essentially just hover over some of these bettors, right? So if we hover over this first guy, we can see he's about $1 million profit P&L, and then KCH Temp is about negative 262K. Now these are the only two holders that really have a worthy amount of shares to take a look at. Now if you take a look at the other side, about a 4K profit for water flow, and then if you take a look, 306K profit, $1 million profit, $5 million profit, $3 million profit, 41K profit. So the top 6 holders are all profitable, and some of them by millions of dollars P&L. But as you can see, there's there's only really one profitable sports bettor worth noting, but he is laying down $1 million. So all we now need to do is take a look a little deeper. We can take a look at his account and basically open it in a new tab, and what we'll see is he only has 7 predictions. Now 7 trades is nothing near what we want to be taking a look at. This isn't very reliable. This isn't a sharp whale we should be trusting with our money. And assuming this account wasn't here, there would be absolutely nobody on the yes side except for Temp. Okay, now what we can do here is take a look at Temp as well. Only 60 predictions, so once again, not a very good prediction number. We want to see hundreds of predictions. We want to see hundreds of bets, and as you can see, he is just a net negative bettor. He has lost $250,000 P&L, so we're not going to trust him with our money. Now that's 2 people we cannot trust on the yes side, but we have 6 profitable sports bettors on the no side. So if we take a look at our first whale, which is water flow, he has about 4K profit, but he only has 4 trades. So once again, not a trustworthy, reliable source. Now, if we take a look at our second holder, right, we're also going to see he only has about 39 predictions. So once again, not a super reliable source. So we want to make sure we're actually clicking on these names and making sure these guys are reliable. Once again, 22 predictions, up about $1 million, which is definitely trustworthy in some way, but only 22 predictions isn't a lot of predictions. So if we take a look at our fourth source, this is a insider that I follow consistently, Substantial Service. He has about 3,000 predictions, and his all-time he is up $3.7 million. In what scenario do you think this guy is not putting in profitable long-term sports bets? So if we take a look at this guy specifically and open up his copy address and go to polymarketanalytics.com, we can actually search him as a trader. Now what this does is it allows us to take a little bit deeper look in somebody that we are trusting as a sharp bettor, right? So as of right now, he's really the only sharp bettor we have on this game, but he is definitely on the side that has a lot more liquidity. Now if we take a look at categories, what we want to do is look up the category we're sports betting on. So for a guy like this, we want to take a look at every soccer category he has available to him, and as you can see, 5.5 million over 4.3 million losses, so that's a 1.2 million P&L on soccer alone. He has about a 400k profit on the Premier League, and he has about a 70k profit on MLS, and he has no bets yet for the FIFA World Cup. Now the FIFA World Cup just started, so for him to have about 1,200 trades at about $1.3 million profit, and with about a 58% win rate, we can guarantee profit long term if we follow this guy's trades. Now if we take a look at the fifth holder on our no side, we can see at an all-time he is up $3 million, and if we take a look at every single bet this guy has made on soccer, he is up over $500,000 with over 6,600 predictions. So that is 2 sharp, trustworthy bettors that are betting over 100 to 200k on this exact game that we're betting on. So on the yes side for Sweden, we have 2 whale bettors that really aren't that trustworthy, and then on the no side we have 5 big whale bettors, with 2 of them being very trustworthy long term, being up $500,000 or even millions of dollars all time, and we know for a fact they know what they're doing long term. So you can either take the no on Polymarket for 49 cents, or if you're line shopping and also adding in a little bit of EV betting with this, it makes the strategy even stronger. Now if you take a look at Sweden versus Tunisia, essentially what you're looking for is Tunisia to cover the 0.5 spread, which means they can draw or win, and that's the odds of that bet. The same as the no when you're betting against Sweden, right? So if you just take a look over here, plus 0.5 spread for Tunisia, essentially Sweden cannot win. We get the best odds of plus 105. So essentially we want to be looking for that. So on NoVIG, you can get this bet for plus 105 and get the best odds possible. Now if you're not on exchanges or on prediction markets, plus 100 on Hard Rock is pretty good, and I highly recommend taking no more than 1 to 2 cents, or about 5 odds different than these sharp bettors, because at the end of the day the odds do matter. We're just not specifically line shopping, right? We're following really sharp whale bettors that take a price and move the market in their way. These guys are setting the market, okay? Although we look at very sharp sports books, these guys are sharp sports books on their own, worth millions of dollars. These guys are moving lines on a day-to-day basis with their positions, and we just want to see if we can take a better price than what they're taking. If you can take the same price or anything better like plus 105, I highly recommend doing that. If you get just a slight worse price of 2 to 3 odds, I don't mind that at all, but I highly recommend trying to find a book with the best odds. But essentially plus 105, we would want to be taking this no on Sweden or the plus 0.5 spread for Tunisia on NoVIG. And once you start doing this every single day, you'll notice that we start to come across the same names. Now I would highly recommend noting down Substantial Service and noting down Ferrari Champions 2026. These guys are both very, very sharp bettors, over $8 million of P&L combined, and they're both dropping about 150k on the Sweden no. So I highly recommend noting them down, and every time you see them on the no or both on the yes, or maybe just one of them, you note to take a look at that game. At this point, I've already noted down a few sharps on the Soccer World Cup, and essentially what I'm doing is I'm looking at every single total, every single spread, and every single money line, and I'm finding the sharpest bettors all on one side, and I'm playing that exact bet. Now I don't recommend betting on every single game of of the World Cup, but I highly recommend looking at every single one and looking at the total, the spread, and the money lines, the main markets where these bettors are betting millions of dollars. Now, I know a lot of you don't have time to look through every single game, and that's why I have a Discord that makes these plays for you. I use this exact strategy following the whale bettors that are extremely sharp long term, and I'm playing all of their bets on a day-to-day basis. I post all of them in my VIP Discord, and you can try this 50% off with code YouTube. I will leave the first link in the description, and you can go ahead and sign up with the exchanges membership or the pro membership, where I put all of these plays and you can get it 50% off for an entire month. This is one of the most profitable strategies possible, and with the World Cup, it allows us to put in so many bets long term, allowing us to catch the variance that these sharp whale bettors are betting millions of dollars on. Now, if this video helped you out in any shape or form, please make sure you subscribe, like, and drop a comment for the next video you want to see. And if you do want to try all of my plays 50% off, once again, code YouTube at checkout. First link in the description will take you there, and you can get every single play for the full month half off.